Yeah, let's just go into it. 3, 2. Welcome back to the PDP. It's your boy Pops Prince. Today I'm accompanied by one of the greatest artists in Chicago, the real Yues.
The pun.
She's a multimedia artist, content creator, youth advocate, and I'm still learning so much more about her. Let's give it up for Yues.
Hi.
AKA yueskeyluna. Welcome to the pod. First
Thank
time,
you
right?
for having me. Yes.
Yeah, so I guess just to get a little more backstory on how I met Yues. I think the first time we met was when we did a mural together in 2020. Or no, we already had been acquainted through like previous art shows probably.
Yeah, I think
It's like 2019 I feel like was a really big year for art shows. Maybe sooner.
I think the first time like I knew who you were reaching out for like group shows, and I was part of like a couple of your group shows, and I was like, oh, wow.
Was that at Jedits?
Yeah.
In Pilsen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. And then 2020 was like the first time I really like worked with you, and like I feel like the first time we really had a conversation longer than like 5 minutes.
Yeah, like in passing and stuff.
Yeah. And we painted a smoke shop together.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably put that picture up here.
Yeah, that was like COVID days.
Yeah.
Everything was bored
And
out.
everything with the Black Lives Matter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So all the small businesses had boards up, and like the whole mural movement stuff started. And I remember that day, JPEG was kind of helping us out, and he was helping the girl who does Cosmo. Who does the burgers.
Yeah.
He was helping her like do fills, and then he was like, oh, Pablo, like he was trying to teach me.
Yeah.
But I guess I was fucking up and I didn't do it right. Like, because you're supposed to go front
like
and
streaks,
back, right?
Yeah.
And then I was going like in one motion. She was like, he's wasting all my paint. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that was crazy. So yeah, muralist, painter. What do you think got you into art? If we could take it back. Like, you've been doing this your whole life?
It feels like I have been. I would say like high school, like freshman year of high school. Honestly, I was just trying to stay at the house. Like I didn't like coming home too much. And I have a tia that's more of like a sister. So it was one of those things where like her friends kind of became my friends because I was always around them. So then when I started high school, a lot of my friends were older already. So they had like the privilege to be outside more. And I kind of like stuck to that like a chicle. I was like, well, if you're gonna be outside, I'm gonna be outside too, like, you know.
And she was also a painter, or she just
she just knew these people that she would like smoke with them and hang out with them. But they did do art, like they did graffiti and stuff, and I was just intrigued and I liked the culture a lot. So I think it definitely started with staying outside. Like I didn't want to come home. So then I would just watch them paint. I watched them do things, and then they'd just be like, come on, try it. Like, little you, like just draw a heart or something, you know? And then it became a thing where it's just like, well, if I'm going to be outside, I might as well be doing something. And then it became like an everyday thing. Like we're going to be outside every day painting. And then after that, like when I couldn't be outside, I was practicing at home, you know, sketchbooks and pens. And then I just couldn't land on a style, like a font for my tags and graffiti. And I think that's when I started to experiment with other things. Yeah,
because I feel like you do it all. You did acrylic.
Resin.
The resin, yeah.
Yeah.
You were one of the first people I've seen to do that. And just like your style is like very different. You said that you like it that people can recognize your style without knowing that it's you.
Yeah, so...
have you been trying to like stay away from like putting your name on everything?
Yeah, I want to play around with the idea of like... have you seen the Kid Cudi's documentary?
Yeah, it was really good. Was it on Amazon? Or?
I think so. One of those. There's just a certain part that really stuck out to me where he talks about creating your own genre of music, where you're allowed to bounce between like Speeding Bullet and like Passion and
I remember he didn't want to talk about Speeding Bullet.
Yeah, exactly. There's just certain things that you don't want to talk about. But when that album came out, he was getting a lot of backlash of like a different genre, a different style of music. And I want to play around with the idea of kind of creating my own style of work. I feel like people have like difficulty pinpointing exactly what it is, whether it's like graffiti or typography or like color theory.
They're trying to box you in.
Yeah, and I think I want to, you know, kind of like create something that like like we were talking earlier, like you recognize a style or a tag, and even if you can't read that tag, you know who it is based off like their hand style. Same thing with art. Like I want to be able to have like almost like a color palette that's my own that people kind of recognize, and they're like, oh, that's like a Yuski palette, you know. And like,
I mean, you definitely, I feel like your style is that, and it's unique. Like when people see it, like the side practice window mural. I knew it was you, but I don't think it has your name in it. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that there's my name always is twice. It's written twice in every single piece.
Everything?
In every piece. Like if it's a Yues name, there's 2 Y's, 2 E's, and 2 S's every single time. But just people don't really
like a
know
cool
that.
Thing
it's like my hidden gem.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, they'll know after they listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
So you switched from the YEWS to YEUS?
Yeah.
Is that just cause? Or
yeah, I think.
Where does the name Yues come from? I don't even think I know your real name.
Yues, that was, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I was maybe like a sophomore in high school, and we were at the McDonald's on Cicero in like Fullerton, right there, that McDonald's by the 2-floor Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Because I went to Prosser, but I lived on like 31st and Cicero, so I'd take the Cicero bus all the way down to Fullerton, and then the Fullerton bus down.
You've been in Chicago all your life? Or?
Yeah, most of my life. I was born here. I moved out for like 2 years to live with my mom. She lives in like, she was like 3 hours away from here. And then I came back after high school.
Nice.
But
so you're at McDonald's?
Yeah, I was at McDonald's with my group of friends, and we all had like nicknames, and I didn't have. I was writing Rocky at the time, so because it was really close to my name, people were just calling me that in high school, and then Rocky just stuck. But people knew who Rocky was, like they knew it was me. So they're like, "You need a name that nobody knows who it is."
Okay.
And they wrote the alphabet down for me, and they're like, "Circle the letters you're really good at, like what letters you know you could kill." And I circled U and E because those are really like easy letters to do. And then I think I circled like an S, and then they were like, "Okay, like play like basically like word search, like what can you make out of these words, because this is what you're going to be writing all the time, you know." And they made me like put a list of things that I liked, and my first Instagram name was like the Moon Child. I'm a Cancer, so like I was always like, oh, Moon Child, La Luna, you know. So I googled like moon in different languages, and you like YUE is like, I think if I'm correct, she's like a moon goddess in like a Japanese like comic. And I was like, that's perfect. That's me.
Yuski.
It was just YUE. And then it was just complicated because like we'd be out and they'd be like, oh, I'm with Pabs and this person and you. And they'd be like, who? And they'd be like, you. So then we just added the S at the end, like Yues. And then Yues became Yuski because ski, like, you know, everybody adds ski at the end of their name. And it stuck. I really liked all the puns.
I feel like we've been at multiple events together. I know we did the Pops and Pals 3. Yeah. You pulled up and you came, I don't know if you brought a table that day, but you brought like your whole setup. Oh,
with like the plants and stuff.
Yeah. So you try not to stick to like one particular medium or canvas, I guess, because you do furniture as well.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that?
I always had like a vision. Like it's like kind of like directing. Like like when you're like shooting a movie or like a video, like I always knew this color looked good with this pattern in my head. It just made sense. So I never had like a end shot or like a end, like when I'm painting, like, oh, this is what I'm gonna create. Yeah. I just kind of know that these colors work good together. And like when it comes to like styling for like a show or like a little corner, I kind of know like, oh, like if I add a green plant, it's gonna look like nice, you know.
The whole setup.
Yeah, like if I get more put together. Like, do you ever look at fonts like especially for like small businesses or like dentists, and it'll be like dentists, like they're called.
Yeah, it's like very simple. They don't even try to
like it up a bit.
Yeah, it's like you could warp the letters a certain way to make it look better, or just like. I know what you mean. Especially now, like, I'm a graphic designer, so I see all these logos, and I'm like,
if you
could have done it better.
Change the color, like it would make such a difference.
Well, you do a lot of like digital work too. You're very like talented.
Thank you.
Where does that like put you as like an artist? Like, what do you see yourself being in the future? You know what I mean? Because right now, so you're doing social work. Do you feel like you're gonna do that for a while, or do you eventually want to get out?
I'm in the middle because I didn't know I liked working with kids until I started working with kids. So it's still very new. I've been working with kids. I mean, I did little, like I had experience work, like we did like leadership groups in the summer, and I was part of like after school matters, stuff like that. So, but like to actually be responsible for youth, it's new to me. And I didn't know I liked it so much, and I didn't know I was so good at it. Yeah. So
what gives you that, like, how do you know that you're good at it? Because the kids tell you, or because you see the impact that you make?
Yeah, the impact. Okay. It's really rewarding. Like I have teachers coming up to me, be like, "Hey, like Rose doing great."
Oh,
like,
nice.
You know, I don't know what happened during the summertime or what she was going through, but like she's way more disciplined, and like it's such a. And even the kids themselves, like though, you know, I have kids that, like I remember I wasn't at school one day, and my student texted me like, "Hey, I cussed out this student, and I feel really bad. Like, can we go apologize?" And I'm like, funny. "Oh my God, yeah, of course. Like, let's do that." I had incidents like on Mother's Day. I was really upset because they called me on my day off. Like, they're blowing up my phone, and I was like, "I told you I was off. Like, why are you calling?" I was just calling to say Happy Mother's Day. You know, like you really look out for us, and
you're like a mother to us.
Yeah, and you know, I don't take that stuff lightly at all.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I've realized with this whole industry or like scene, that the impact that you make is more important than like what you make. And a lot of times I was dropping products like crazy, or it was more like consistent, but it wasn't fulfilling. I don't know. So you could do a lot more with a little.
Yeah.
Like, that's more I'm learning.
I feel like that's how I think about the internet a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much stuff on the internet. Like that's why I got off of it, because I consistently saw other people posting, and I'm like I'm not doing that much work, or I was just. But
you're just not. It's like different work.
Yeah.
Because even like the content creation stuff, and like
I just don't know how to like
do it for yourself.
Take a picture and post it online. Like how do I, you know, like how to? It's just kind of to like conceptualize things like that can get a little bit difficult for me personally.
Do you think it's because it feels like more pressure on yourself, or because you don't want to be the person getting your picture taken, and like everything that you did to grow that one account, like you could do it for yourself too, or?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm really good at seeing things like when we're doing like a design, like if somebody comes up to be like, I want to make a logo, and I'm like, okay, well, what are you going for? Like, what's your vibe? Like, what message are you trying to come across? And then when they tell me all the points, I'm really good at connecting the dots and being like, all right, this is the bigger picture. When it comes to myself, I don't know what those points are half of the time. So how am I going to come up with a bigger picture for myself? It's more pressure than
so
it
funny.
is
Yeah,
when it comes to other people. Just because I know I can change it anytime. I have that talent to be like, if I don't like that logo, I can change it and make it anything else I want. So it's hard to like keep it that way.
Yeah. But going into 2024, that's something that you want to change?
I don't want to be afraid of like one day being this way and then tomorrow being something else, and like feeling like I have to explain to people why my aesthetic is different, or why I'm not painting murals, but I'm actually like coordinating other things.
I think like the people that really fuck with you will be fans of you no matter what, but it's those new followers, or like the people that only follow you because of a specific thing that you just made. Like they feel like they already know you, or they feel like if you change, then they're like the old Kanye. They want the old Kanye.
Yeah, that's literally what I was just gonna say. I feel like, because we were just talking about like, do we still like Kanye after everything he said now? And I'm like, I don't think he would have ever said those things if he didn't have that power, you know, like if he didn't have those opportunities, and if he didn't meet those people. So like the internet, it's a yin and a yang, you know, like it's good and it's bad, but we have the accessibility to like categorize him and say like, oh, he's the old Kanye and the new Kanye. He's still Kanye. It's the same person.
But recently he trademarked the word use.
Yeah.
But I think his is spelled a little different, or is it still?
If I'm correct, it's YEWS, which is like a certain
At first I
way.
thought it was like Yay Workshop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's like, what I thought it was at first. I don't know if that's what it's the acronym for.
Okay. Does that ever like discourage you when you saw that? Were you upset?
I actually, like I said, I I've been trying to stay off the internet a lot this past year. I actually got a bunch of people tagging me on this stuff, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like, I don't know. And then like I kept looking at it, and I was like, "Oh damn, yeah."
But you guys are on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So okay.
At first, I was like, I don't know how to feel about it, but after a while, I was like, you know what? Like, I've been doing this for a while. Like, this is like 2016, 2017 work. And the fact that like it's now being trademarked, it's like, it is what it is. But we, you know, like if you, like, I know that I knew what it was. So like, I'm okay with it, wherever it ends up after that. Like, that's not me. Like, that's my name, you know? Like, I'm always going to be used. But like, if he like makes it into something super crazy, you know, like that's not representative of me. Like, I know that is at the end of the day just a name, and I can still be myself without that name.
You do a lot of collabs with like, well, I consider them collabs. I do them too. Like spin-offs, like the Nike stuff.
Yeah.
You
I feel like this is going to be something that like happens a lot with if he does turn out to do something with his name. Yeah.
But it's your style and his style are probably different. And like people will recognize you. But when it comes to like even just like the Nike collab, or when you put your name on another company's logo, that's like a spin-off, right? That's what I've done it too. Do you ever feel like their brand kind of overshadows yours? Or sometimes I'm making stuff and it I kind of hate that the first thing that people like with all the Dragon Ball Z stuff I make, like Dragon Ball Z is the bigger brand, but I still feel like it's my work, like collaborating with them. I've had people tell me like, you need to stop doing that because it you're not telling your own story. Like, how do you feel about that?
For the most part, when I like do those kinds of collaborations, I'm nitpicking. Like, I'm picking a certain aspect of that brand that I like the whole just do it. Like, it came natural. Like, it was a saying I would say to my friends, like, dude, just do it. Like, it was something it just stuck with me that summer. And I was like, I'm gonna just put that on a board. Like, it's a Nike saying, like, that's where I got it from. But like, the way that I use it is different, you know? Or it's something that I carry to myself. So I don't think it carries more weight towards me. But I do think that like, I was able to see that little part of the big picture of the big brand. And that's the part that I choose to like emphasize on and like grow on and like kind of twist and morph it into like you said, my style and like what I want other people to look at it from. It's
like people get tied down to certain like themes or names, even like characters, like it's like somebody getting mad at somebody doing a smiley face because Cactus Plant Flea Market has a smiley face. And these are like shapes that have been around for years. Like you can't claim a heart, you can't claim a star. A smiley face is universal, you know? So like even like just do it. Yeah, we could have the same thoughts that they had when they created it, but it doesn't necessarily mean like you're stealing the idea.
Yeah, like
you just have the idea.
I'm not like calling it my own idea, you know, like that's not something I came up with, but that's something that I do use often in my own lifestyle. So I feel like I should be able to like push that onto other people. If I like something, if I think something's cool and I want to like fangirl over it, I should be able to do that.
Okay.
I feel like, because that's how I see it. It's very much like, I thought this was cool and like I used it in my lifestyle and I want other people to think it's cool too.
Yeah, it is like fan art. Or like you're agreeing with what they're saying and like adding a little bit more to it. Definitely. I
think it's all, at the end of the day, it's just a balance of knowing like, because I feel like I buy a lot of stuff when it's based off of other stuff. Like if you do something and I think your art is really cool and then you like do a spin-off with another brand that I thought was also very cool, like that's even cooler to me because I'm like, you really like that brand too. Wow, me too, you know, like now we both like it, so now you know what I'm saying?
It's like relatable.
Yeah, so like when I see somebody wearing a certain shirt that's like a spin-off, like the MF Doom shirts, and they like spin them off, I'm like, oh my god, that's cool, you like MF Doom and Pokemon like in one, like that's cool. Yeah,
I think that's where my brand started, and a lot of like pop culture references and like nostalgia. I don't know what 2024 has in store for me. Like I think I've, like you said, I don't want to be tied down to one particular thing, and like a lot of people do recognize me for what I've done. But what do you have planned for 2024 as far as like resolutions, or because this might come out maybe at the end of the year or starting in January?
I definitely want to push the turning nothing into something a lot more. I feel like people have an idea of what it is, and I talk about it on my page like once in a while, but I don't like explain how I do it in my work. Like I post a picture of the end product, but I'm like, I want to talk about like, hey, I actually found this door in like a dumpster, like, like where the origin. I wanted to like, I envision like almost like little reels of like where that object has been through its life. Like, have you seen those videos of like the bag and like in a bunch of different places? Yeah, like the whole turning nothing into something is something that I'm very, very strong about. Like I haven't spent my own money on art supplies in like 2 years. Nice. Like I have my stash of paint, that I do re-up if I need it. But like
as far as like the canvas or like whatever your
the end material
furniture,
has either been gifted to me by other artists or I found it. That's my favorite. Like when other artists come up and be like, hey, I have 10 trays of this, I feel like you could do something really cool with that. And I'll be like, wow, thanks, like we're collaborating. Like this is a collaboration.
Nice. That reminds me of Melissa. Just recently she gave me like a whole bunch of yarn that she was gonna throw away, and I gave it to my grandma and she made some really cool like bags and sweaters and stuff. But yeah, it's stuff that would have gone to the trash or like. Yeah,
I think alchemy is like really important in my life.
That's
like,
yeah. I think that's the right word because it's not. So even though, I mean, you could push that it's nothing into something, but it's not nothing because it already existed. You didn't create it from scratch.
Exactly.
But alchemy is a perfect word for it because it's like you're turning something that is boring into something cool.
Yeah. Like I think I just have a niche for like the final product of things. Like I can see something and be like, well, if you change that and if you add this, then you could actually use it to like for something functional in your house. Because I feel like, especially in the art community, I personally come from like a low income household, so art is like a luxury. If we're buying art, it has to also be functional art. Like it can't just be something you put on your wall. Like growing up, it wasn't like that, so I think that really pushed the way I did my own art because I wanted it to be like kind of like have a purpose. I mean, I know that art has a purpose, on its own
as far as like inspiring, but I get
like I think my own traumas made me want it to be like also like functional in your home. And then that taught me like in the graffiti scene, like the mirror, for example, like an up is an up, like that's in somebody's house and people are taking pictures with it. It's my style.
I feel like you did something for Gabby. Oh yeah, this is Gabby's. I was like, I've seen this before.
See what I'm saying? Shout like you go to her house and you're like, like that's an up. That's like seeing a tag on the street kind of deal.
It's in someone's home. They appreciated it. That's crazy. So have you seen Full Metal Alchemist? Okay. Dope. So you should definitely play around with that. I like that word a lot. It's really cool. Just repurposing stuff.
Like all the stuff, like the Apple bag, the H&M bag, those are a series that I really wanted to play around with.
The bags that you get from that would normally go in the trash, and you're
I think it
into something you could reuse.
I think it started with like the St. Alfred bag. I like really liked the texture of the bag. Like it was so smooth and so nice. I just wanted to write on it, and then it just became a thing. And I was like, no.
It's just crazy because you've been doing it so long that then you want to switch to a different style. So you're not known as that, like the person who paints on bags. Like you do more, but it's almost like a pro and a con because there's all these TikTok accounts that are just catered to the person that does that. You know what I'm saying? But you kind of do it all. Yeah,
like the person. I felt like I really felt that way when I started doing resin, and I was like doing like the resin ashtrays and the resin like. That's when I started to do the tables because I was like, I don't want to just make ashtrays. Like, I don't just want to make trays. So then that's when I started to incorporate like resin in my pieces and be like, let me master the skill of resin first. And then how can I like stretch it into other things and put it in unconventional places too. Like art should be in unconventional places.
That's fire. I think you've trained yourself in so many different styles and it'll all pay off. But it's like, people start businesses solely like I want to have Juanito rugs on here. He started a whole rug business, but it was like at the same time that everybody else was doing rugs too. So it's not sustainable unless you're able to create your own art with it. I feel like because then you're just taking commissions, and then I don't know, like where's the fun in that?
I think we all go through that phase of like commissioning and like
Yeah.
trying to gain a profit in some kind of way of our style of work and like what we do, because that's what we're told we're supposed to be doing. Like, oh, you should be making money off of your art.
Yeah.
Like you see it in like a lot of bigger artists, like musical artists, even like once we make it, like once quote unquote we make it, we start to like make other kinds of art, you know, like other avenue of art.
Yeah.
And we don't start to do that until we personally start to feel successful. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like we kind of start doing what we think is going to get us through, get us money. And then once we're more stable, we're able to do things that we genuinely want to do, things that like
And try different things.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like you're successful right now at art?
I'm definitely not where I want to be.
What would that look like, or what's considered like success in Yueske's eyes?
I never really wanted to be famous. Like,
yeah.
like I don't crave for that kind of stuff.
But you'd like your work to be seen, you think?
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of accessibility. Like I want to be able to like have an idea of like, hey, I want to shoot this shot in like Puerto Rico or like Tokyo, and like I can get up and do that and have the resources to do that, and like be able to turn my ideas into actual things right then and there. Because I feel like nowadays we're just like, okay, once we save up for this much, then I can finally buy this product and this and that. So just having all the tools that I need to like create.
Yeah, like the resources.
Yeah.
I could see you like having a whole exhibit and then people not really like knowing who like curated it, and then you just pull up right behind them. It's
Yeah, like,
oh,
hey,
this is pretty cool, right?
I'm here. Yeah. Yeah. Like I guess like when it comes to legacy, it's just how I make people feel. Like I want people to look at my artwork and be like, I felt something. Yeah.
That's awesome. I remember we actually did, so around the same time we did the 2020 stuff, you also had one at a crab place.
Oh,
it was like a crab restaurant.
Yeah.
I remember that was so random. I was like, I don't know exactly. Was this a different day or was that the same day?
It was very close.
Okay.
Because you actually were painting that with me.
I helped a little bit.
Yeah.
You did the majority of the work, and then they gave us like I don't know if it was like $100 or like something off.
Like a gift card.
I was able to take Roar. We got some crab.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They had good ice cream.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I think sometimes like it's not about the pay. It's about.
That's what I was gonna ask you. So
Yeah.
like, would you have been okay not taking? Like, I don't know if you got paid or if you just got paid in like store credit. But
Yeah.
that's like a thing for people to only offer. Like, oh, I could pay you in credit, or I could pay you in what do you call that? Like a post.
Yeah.
Like if you have
like
a
acknowledgements or
Yeah.
something.
How do you feel about that?
Everything's situational, I think.
Okay.
I think that there are times where like it's fine. Like we're all struggling and this would bring so much more to your business, and I would love to do that just because I genuinely wanted to paint. But then there's other times where like I create a design and then they make it into like sweaters and other stuff, and I was like, you could have asked. That would have been really great, you know?
That's crazy. That happened to me recently too. They keep I don't know why I feel like it. I'm not gonna shout them out, but they just keep repurposing my designs, and I'm like, I don't know, this isn't what we agreed on.
Yeah.
But,
I think it's just a respect thing.
yeah.
And mostly like money wise, we all need money. We all need to survive. And I know that money holds a lot of value, you know, like how you get paid compared to how another person gets paid for similar things can get a little bit complicated. But just respect for me is a big thing. Like if I respect your work and communication, like especially working with businesses, like small businesses, I feel like I'm always like, hey, like it's fine. Like communicate with me. Like we can make it work. At the end of the day, I still want to do this for you, but just I rather you communicate to me that you have a budget rather than like I don't do it at all, and then now we don't have anything.
Yeah, and you could probably do it better because we have the vision for it.
Yeah.
And like you said, respect, that it's also like reputation. Like they could ruin your reputation to other people if they put out some like poor product or poor quality product, you know?
Yeah. I think you probably know more of this than I do because it's like a production thing, you know, like you have a design and then you produce multiple things. I've never experienced something like
everything that you do is one of one?
Everything is one of one. I think the only thing I did that was like multiple was like tote bags and notebooks that I made with like keychains, and like I sold them as a pact. I sold them as like a pact, and I think if I'm right, I named it, not a brand, something like that.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's one of your highlights.
Yeah. So I've never like mass produced anything. So I feel
Is
like
that on purpose, or just because you don't have the resources?
I don't want to.
Nice.
I don't want to. And if I am going to be mass producing, it's going to be, at least I want to try it to be from people that I know personally.
Mm-hmm. Not like overseas, like with the whole manufacturing process and stuff.
Not right now. I feel like if I...
Have you done merch, like clothing?
Mm-mm.
It's all been like accessories or homeware?
Homeware, yeah, like canvases or like plant propagation stands and things like that. No, I'm lying, actually. I've made hats like a while ago.
Embroidered? Or
embroidered, like it was like my throwy on a hat. And I've made like hand painted bags. I did like a collaboration with like Jasmine, and she was sewing those like bandana tote bags.
Oh yeah.
And then we did like the Yues box logo.
Damn, I miss Jasmine. I haven't seen her forever. Come on the pod. I technically have a collab with her too, I think. But Jasmine. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
but now something that
nothing more than like 30 or 40 prints or runs or anything
still
like that.
Still very limited. Yeah. That's good. I think that makes it more valuable than just having like a bunch of random shirts out in the world and stuff. Really cool. What are some like inspirations or like that you look up to as far as artists, designers?
I was really dreading this question.
You don't have inspiration?
I do. I really do. But I feel like that's the first thing people ask, like, who's your inspiration, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm really bad because like it's like music, or like I know movies, I don't know actors' names.
Okay.
I know the lyrics, I don't know the name of the song, kind of deal.
If somebody asks me what are your like top 3 movies, I'm not gonna be able to tell them that.
Yeah.
So I get you.
I think what for me, it's like I hyper fixate on things. Like if I like something that you like posted, like I'm gonna hyper fixate on that thing. And like I usually like, not that I don't care about everything else that you haven't posted, but I that's catching my attention. I need to know that now, and then I'll find other artists that did similar things to you, like that style. Like I guess I'm thinking more of like technique, like resin.
Yeah.
Like if I really hyperfixate on resin, I'm gonna go on YouTube and look up like artists that did resin, and then like I'll like look at that collection and not like the other mediums, unless I'm trying to learn like oil. Then I'll like Google oil stuff and find artists that do that. When it comes to like researching artists, when it comes to like scrolling on the internet artists, I think it's more of like the statement, the like what they're carrying with that brand, or like that message that reels me back in every single time. Like if somebody has like a really good like a clean like skincare, like clean ethic when it comes to like how they make their skincare products, I'm consistently like, oh, I want to know more about that. So like if you're creating in a certain way or a certain style that I like, I'm like, oh, I need to know more about that. But I've never really been like, oh, I love this, like everything this person does, like everything that they do. Like I can't do that.
Because you're more, I guess the question is like, what work has led your work to look like this? It's not so much about the artist, because they could be tied down to like a whole bunch of bad propaganda, or we don't know what they're doing. I'm like, I get it. I had this conversation with Lucas. He told me he liked what's that song, the one that goes, I believe I can fly.
I believe.
R. Kelly, basically. And I was trying to tell him like, so this guy's not really a good person. And he was like, it's okay, you don't have to like the person. You don't have to like the person, the song's good. And I was like, I don't know, some people don't agree. But
I think it's situational, because I've definitely been in positions where I can't distinguish the artist between the artwork. Like whatever the case might be, then I'm like, I just can't put that aside. Like I know too much, you know? But it's rarely the case. I feel like I'm pretty good at being like, that's a good piece. And that's that.
Just being unbiased or... I
feel like I get a lot of people that tell me that. Like, why don't you tell them that you're a girl and why don't you post with your work?
Okay.
It's always like meant to do those things too. Like, you're a very pretty person. Like if you posted like a real of you painting it, you know, people would really like that. And I would just be like, I'm sure they would.
Yeah. But you don't want to be you want to be like the art to be the main focus.
Yeah, I want to be able to post something and let it be its own thing. I feel like if I post something with me in it, they're gonna be like, oh, like criticizing me and what I'm wearing and what I'm saying,
Yeah.
versus like the actual piece itself.
Do you feel like being a woman in the art scene is it more difficult or like easier? Yeah, I guess like from a woman's perspective, I would never like.
It's both.
Yeah.
It's definitely both. You, at least for myself, pick and choose your own battles. I feel like, and it's shitty to say, being a girl, you're open to more opportunities because you're a girl, and like other people might have other intentions, but like you know what you want. So it's like kind of like manipulation. Like, you know, they want other things or they're interested in other things, but you want certain things, and like it's easy to get those opportunities if you really wanted to, you know. But then at the other end, it's literally that same concept where like you don't get opportunities, or you do get those opportunities because you're a girl, and it's just like, would I have gotten those opportunities otherwise?
Yeah.
So it's like you're biting your own tongue all the time.
Crazy. Wow.
So I think it's just having a good grip of what you want. Mm-hmm. What do you want, and what are your boundaries, and what is your end goal to things? But I do definitely think that one, I feel like painting like murals and stuff, it's like at least in like graffiti world, it's like a man's world, you know. And then
I feel like that's just like every category. Like if I get a musician on here too, they're gonna say the same thing. It's like unfortunate.
Yeah, and then you have girls that are really pivoting in the career and like making a difference because they're a woman. Yeah. And that's like a great thing. And I do find that you need to have a lot of courage for those things, because you're not just advocating for yourself, but you're advocating for other women too. So it can get a little heavy, but just making sure you're not overstepping your own boundaries.
This is the Proud Disappointed podcast. I asked all my ghosts the same thing. What's something that you're proud of, and then something that you're disappointed in? It could be yourself or like somebody.
Something that I'm proud of. Being able to like dip my toes in so many things. Yeah. And like be moderately good at them. Nice. Like I like to be that person, especially at work, to be like, I need somebody that like can help me with this shoot. I could do that. I need somebody to help me make that. I could do that. I got you. That's like something I'm really proud of knowing that like you can
do it all. I wanted to do a blog about this. It's kind of like so there's a term. It's like jack of all trades, master of none. Mm-hmm. And then there's also another term called one trick pony.
I've never heard of that one.
Really? No. So it's like they're two different like perspectives, and I feel like I'm in the same boat as you, where I do feel like I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, but it's also like a good thing, because I feel like in this day and age, you need to do it all, or like you need to be able to do a little bit of everything.
Of everything.
And if I was just focused on one thing, I would need to hire other people to do
those things for you. Yeah, I agree. Definitely, I feel.
Is that what you would rather be, like a jack of all trades, or just really good at one particular thing, like the best?
I prefer to be a jack of all trades, because I feel like I'm able to do more. Like I might not master it, but I can connect it to something else and make that work. Like I know a little bit about fashion and a little bit of photo. If I can mix those two, I can give you a good product at the end, because
you did photography before art? Or you just always?
I did art first, and then I got a camera.
Yeah, to photography.
And to photography, it was mostly film. I'm like a one-shot person. I don't like reshooting stuff. Okay. I don't like remaking work either. Like, yeah. So like because I'm pondering on like the mastering of the skills concept of things. I don't feel like I've ever like been like, oh, I didn't like this. Like I need to erase it and do it all over again and master that style. Like I don't think I've ever let myself hyperfixate like that.
As far as photography or everything?
Like anything. Like I feel like I'm thinking about like people that do oils. Like I love oil. I love it. But that's something that I always told myself I had to practice more of. Like I had to like be better at blending, or I had to be better at like structure.
No, yeah, I get you. Because you look up to these people, but I wonder if they're like looking to be the best at that.
Yeah, like I tell myself like, oh, they're probably that great at oil because they've done it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
They've done oil, or they went to school for oil, and that's probably why they know it so well. Or maybe not. Like, maybe they're just really great at it. But like, I think I make myself feel better because I tell myself, well, I haven't practiced that. That's why I'm not that great at it.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, I never have the will to actually hyperfixate it like that. Like, my attention span is very small. Like, I'll sit for 3 days and then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I think I got it.
I feel like just like us being in so many different mediums, we could apply the same technique. There's another saying that's like, this is all part of the vlog that I want to do, but it's like, once you know one way, you know all the ways or something.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I've learned that with like, even like digitally sculpting, they have like the VR sets and stuff. The same way that I would like, I don't know, it's like the hand moment, like the technique that you use when you digital sculpt. It also worked when I was doing it on the iPad on this program called Nomad Sculpt. And it's just like, it's weird. And even like editing videos, that's like something that's been new to like in my life. It all goes hand in hand. Like, it works together.
I feel like everything's very calculated.
Yeah.
Something that I'm very disappointed in a lot is when I feel like I'm wasting time.
Thank you. I was gonna ask you, but I forgot.
When I feel like I'm wasting time.
Okay.
When I feel like I don't have a purpose of why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I feel like, especially like living by yourself, you don't have anyone being like, you're still doing that. So like, it's really easy to lose track of time. At least for me, I love to lose track of time. I really enjoy not keeping track of the time of day or what day of the week it is. But it also backfires, because then I'm like,
this is like you setting a deadline for yourself that you don't meet, you're saying?
No, like, more like I feel like, especially like when we have 9 to 5s and we have other things that we want to work on, we're like, okay, we have an hour for this and an hour for that, and then we have to go to meet with this person and do this and that, and then you're like, well, what am I going to do for that 1 hour? Like that 1 hour, I really have to take advantage of that 1 hour. And then if I end up doing something that I feel like it's unproductive, then I'm like, damn, I should have done something differently. And like, that's when I get like, that's when the ADHD started to kick in and my disappointment kicks in, because I'm like, I wanted to do all these things and I ended up not doing any of those things. So like, it brings me back to like, that's why I can't allow myself to hyperfixate on something, because then I'll overly fixate on it. And then it's just like, what was I even trying to learn to do to begin with? It's
like Adderall. Like,
I've never taken Adderall.
Okay.
No, I was gonna...
It'll make you focus, but it'll focus on anything in front of you. So
yeah,
like I remember I used to take Adderall just to like try to finish a project before like a show or something, or like a painting. And then I end up just texting longer than I should have, or on my phone longer than I should have.
I feel like...
What drugs have you done?
Huh? What have I done? The instant, huh? Weed is like that for me.
Just weed?
No, I've done other stuff, but weed is like that for me in a sense of like washing dishes. I have to smoke before I wash dishes, because if
it makes it more fun.
Not necessarily, because if I don't smoke while I do dishes, I'm in my head like, damn, I should have put a load of laundry in while I'm washing dishes. That's to save time. Or damn, I forgot to feed my cat. Or I got to write down that like I need to get this from the grocery.
Interesting. That's like, I feel like the opposite, because most people will say like, weed will make you forget stuff.
No, weed allows me to be like, okay, look at the water running. Okay, the plate is clean. Great.
Oh, nice.
Like, it slows me down, because I'm always like in my brain. Yeah. A lot of people expect me to have a solo show soon. Like, I get that question a lot when I go to other pop-up events.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I haven't seen you on the internet in a while. When are you posting your work? Or like, when are you having your show?
Do you feel like it's coming, or do you not want to like set a date on it? Do you think you have enough work at home for a solo show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of work that I haven't posted. A lot of things that are, I just wanted to get it out of my system. Like, I wanted to see how this looked. Okay, I did it, and let's forget about it. And then I look back at it, and I'm like, this is really cool. I should frame this. And like, that's what I was getting at earlier. Like, sometimes I make work, and it sits there for weeks, and I completely forget. And then I look at it, and I'll be like, oh, I can make a frame for this, and it's going to be something useful. So I do definitely think I have enough work to have a show. I feel like I'm not where I want to be as a person. My work is there. I think I'm not who I want to be as a person yet. And it's a me thing. Like,
to host a show.
I don't want to have a show until I'm like not where I want to be, because that's like you're always gonna want to be more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm still surviving. And I am living my life. Like, I'm very happy and I love my job. But I feel like I'm almost there. Like, I still need some things that I need to finish up in my personal life, where I want to be and, like, who I need to take care of before I can start, like...
You feel like having a show is more of a luxury?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Because I don't look at a show to sell. Like... And like that recently somebody asked me that, like, or do you not like how much money are you trying to invest? And I was like, I don't think about that stuff. Like it's I should, but like when I like visualize, like romanticize like a show in my head, it's more of like the experience, like
you
the lighting.
Put like a profit loss statement on
no,
that.
like not I wouldn't even like want to sell the work. I just want you to come look at it and like experience it with me.
I know it'll be amazing. You should. I don't know. Maybe it's not like as far as you think, and you got to take your own advice and just do it.
Yeah, I know. I just have to do it.
I feel like, sometimes it's easier for us to tell other people to do things, but we don't realize like
that we should be doing it as well.
Yeah, like it's probably like our art talking to us, but we don't like listen. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I want to thank you for coming on here. I don't have much battery left on either of these cameras.
Yeah.
If the camera turns off, I'll put like some type of video in it.
That's fine.
Is there anything you want to shout out or want to have people check out your Instagrams, your socials?
I know there's not much on my page this past year. Just know that it's all coming. It's all already there. It's made. It's just I just feel like I dump. Like I get on it and I post like 10 things in one day and then I'm like, all right. That's it. And then I come back 2 weeks later. I'm like, all right, here's 10 new things. I'll come back.
That's not bad either. Yeah. But so more posts, more art.
Posts, most art. I definitely want to incorporate my kids a lot more. I love working with my friends and working like incorporating my youth with my friends. It's something that I really want to push this year because I feel like we're all progressively growing as adults in the art community and we're trying to like share our work with the younger youth and provide more opportunities. And sometimes the hardest part is finding these youth and like I have the youth. So it's just a matter of finding people that are willing to work with the youth and like grow with them too.
That's
so,
right.
Like it's really cool to be able to like listen to my students because earlier you asked like, how do I know I'm making like a difference with our kids? I think a lot of it comes when like I get the kids that you don't expect that are gonna come to you, like kids that like I carry this like preppy little girls like style or like aesthetic or like especially like you know like high school kids that like are like serving on the street, like they think I'm like she don't know anything, you know, she likes like Care Bears and Hello Kitty, like and like knowing like, hey, I know somebody that can put you on for this, like if you're really trying to make this brand work, like I know somebody that you can like reach out to and like they could put you on and things like that. Like I really want to continue to do that with my youth. Or
that could be like your you could be the home base for that, for people to come to you and like get it in contact with the youth as well. Just, like
I always dreamed of like having like a loft space or a studio space where like people can come in and be like, I don't have this paint, like I don't have paint and things like that. I'm like, awesome. Like an an open studio. Like I got you. I got like all this stuff that
I feel
you
like
could
I
use.
had that for 2 years with we had a studio in Skokie, but that was with 4 other artists, and it was like a lot of unorganized, and I felt like I was there the majority of the time, and I don't know, the work wasn't being like distributed properly, but either way it was in Skokie. It was way too far, so I need to do that again in Chicago. But I could definitely see us like working together in the future, and like the community that we've built, like even like Jedit, I know has been looking for like another place, and I don't know, it's something we could talk about.
That's something I would really be interested in talking about.
Just having like a studio, studio,
kind of like a crash place. Like I feel like I wanted that a lot in high school. Like we talked about like my high school friend and how he had that basement to himself where he like had his own like press table and stuff. And like even though I wasn't making t-shirts, if I knew I had something I needed to spray paint and I couldn't spray paint in my house, I'd call him and be like, hey, can I use your basement? I really need to do this. And he'd be like, yeah, come down. And like I love that. Like, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have that space. So, like, just a space people can come in and be like, I want to wreck the walls. Like, I want to spray paint the walls and make sure that I won't get yelled at for it, you know?
Or arrested.
Huh?
Or arrested.
Yeah.
Like, the first time that I, like, tried to spray paint, it was right there on 16th, like, where all that stuff is. I got arrested right away.
Yeah.
They took me in. I spent the night in a cell.
How'd you feel about that?
I was pissed off because I barely got to do anything. I think it was like as soon as I like sprayed it.
Oh no.
I was like, I didn't even get to finish. And then they took my paint. There was like this really cool duffel bag I had. I never got it back. Dang. And then they let me out in the streets like at 5 a.m.
Really? Like, that's like the most petty thing they do. I remember when I got arrested, the same thing. They took me into the one by the California Blue Line, and then they transported me to the one by Lane Tech.
Yeah, same thing.
But all my shit wasn't the other one, like my phone and my wallet and everything, and they just like released me, and I was like,
how am I gonna get my shit back?
Yeah, and they're like, you gotta go to the other station, and I was like, how? Right. Like, how do I get there if I don't have money or anything? And they were just like, just tell the bus driver you just got released. And I was like, this feels wrong.
Did you eat the sandwich? Did they give you a sandwich?
No. Oh my God, dude. Dude, I don't know what it is about me, but I'm a goofball when I'm arrested. Like, I think I'm the smartest person in the world. Yeah. And I was just being a smart ass.
So it's been multiple times?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was being this particular time, I was being a smart ass. And I was like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want that. So the guy came and he like, dude, I was such a bad little kid. Like, growing up, like, he got McDonald's, like, for his team. And I was there. And, he was like, oh, you're lucky I'm feeling, like, nice today. Yeah. So, like, I got you this. And it was, like, a Big Mac. And I was like, I don't eat meat. No thanks, you know? And he just, like, looked at me like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Being nice.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't want that. And
that's
like,
so funny.
Yeah. And that same day, like, I had snuck my phone into, like, my breast, like, my, like, sports bra. Yeah. And the person I got arrested with, he tried to, like, sneak his in his, like, crotch area. And I got away with it. Like, I was able to go inside the cell and I had my phone and didn't realize it. And there's, like, a little window you could see, like, the other room. And he was, like, getting searched. And, like, they found his phone. And I was, like, in the back, like,
you were having fun with
no
it?
service. I was playing, like, fucking, what's that game where, like, Subway Surfer, where you're like trying to get on the train. No service. There was nothing. Like, I didn't need that phone. There was nothing. And I couldn't call anyone or text anyone. Damn. It was just for show.
So no shows coming up? Or you have I know Milk Breath.
Yeah, he has a lot of stuff going on, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, he has a lot of stuff going on. I do work with him a lot when I get the chance, whether it's like help coordinate or like find a space or anything like that. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we're like coming up within the next 2 months or anything like that. It's mostly just organizing. Yeah. Just organizing and like having a good idea of what the new year is going to look like.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Even if it was our first podcast, I'm sure we'll have more.
Yeah. It was a great experience. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, it's fun. I think just learning more about each other. Yeah, it's really cool. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to another episode of the PDP. It's Pause Prints. I have stuff on my website. I just made these sweatpants, so I'm putting out more.
They're fire. They look great.
Thank you. Yeah, just trying to be more comfortable and just work where I need to get back to work on like paintings and stuff. So sweatpants, and that's it for now. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo. I'll probably put that song again at the end.